Good morning, good morning, good morning. Very stupid o'clock, everyone. Well, maybe not so stupid o'clock right now. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I am your host, Tiffany Daniels, and we are doing this pre recorded video for going back to the JRC. But before we do, some disclaimers and some real life stuff. Well, since we have replied to the landlord, we have received no replies back. So tomorrow I get to go back to work with that lovely indecisiveness hanging over my head. So me trying to operate under that is going to be, well, let's say interesting. Hopefully HR can get me in somehow sometime tomorrow. So maybe I can schedule some medical leave, something. If I have to go to freaking Burrow down there, down the street, walk down there in the snow to go get my paperwork, I will do it. They are open on Sundays. I have no problem doing this. But yeah, it's just, whew, like I need more on my plate, right? Anyways, we're going back to that horrible world known as the JRC, as I said. So, now for the usual disclaimers. First off, folks, you are going to see the link to the report right there in the description box, alongside the other pertinent links to the Stop the Shocks campaign, including Autistic Koya's massive archive on this topic. Also, folks, the templates. Sign your name, click on your senator, take a look at the other templates, all right? In the ever present and self explanatory change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Now, again, folks, trigger warning. First off, this report is from 1982. Some very outdated and bigoted language is in it. Also, when we talk about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of and catch clips or surveillance footage of people with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones, all right? Also, folks, it may not be stupid o'clock, but yes, I am in my jammies. No, I don't care. I give zero fucks right now. I am out of my head, like transcendent level of paranoia, worry, and fear going on. So, if I stumble over any of my words because of that this afternoon, my apologies in advance. Let's hope at least I'll get some decent sleep and maybe I might be able to forget about it for 5 minutes tomorrow. Plus, I have my aching tooth. God, I hate January. Okay, so we are moving forward to special permit, general requirements violations. Oh, we got more violations. Who's surprised? This is my 9019, by the way. Helps me sleep. Respondent violated Section 1 of General Requirements contained on page 1 of the Special Permit to Provide Aversive Behavior Interventions Exhibit C, hereinafter Special Permit, in that it has failed to maintain full compliance with the licensing regulations in Title 22, California Administrative Code, Division 6, as alleged in paragraphs 1 through 25. Respondent violated Section 3 of general requirements contained in special permit in that facility had made additions and modifications to treatment program at the facility without prior written approval of the Department of Social Services as follows. Respondent subjected blank and blank to isolation as alleged in paragraph, 14. Isolation is a form of timeout procedure. Respondent was specifically advised it could not use timeout procedure. See Exhibit B. On at least one occasion during the period of licensure, respondent subjected student to unapproved aversive treatment by requiring him to sort and resort flatware without interruption and without permission to speak for 3 hours. C. Respondent records indicate that restraints were used as part of students' program and negative reinforcement program. That is, student was able to earn removal of restraints by ceasing to engage in certain behaviors. This occurred during periods of 1980 and 1981, not precisely known to respondent. The use of restraints at BRI is not approved as part of BRI's behavior modification program or under any other circumstances. Respondent violated Section 4 of the general requirements contained in the special permit, and that the treatment program at BRI has been discontinued, suspended, and interrupted without prior notice to the Department of Social Services or to the relevant placement and referral agencies as follows. On numerous occasions from 1979 to the present, respondents ceased the use of adversives and other treatment prior to a resident's scheduled visit to a doctor or his parents. B. During October 1980, and for an unknown period of time before and after this month, student was taken off all forms of treatment. C. In or about September or October 1980, student was taken off treatment because he was excessively bruised. D. On occasion during the period from September the 3rd from December the 15th, 1980, and on an unknown occasions before and after that period, residents would be taken off treatment if they were badly bruised. If visitors came to the facility, the residents would be put in their bedrooms. E. During the period from September through December 1980 and for an unknown period of time before and after that period, a resident would be taken off regular treatment, asked to do only tasks which placed little demand on him, and rewarded heavily, so a film could be made showing how much the resident had allegedly approved at BRI. Oh, Jesus Christ. Tricky bastards. On or about March 5th, 1981, as a result of complaints to BRI by blank, her son was taken off treatment. C. On or about November 1980, student was taken off adversive treatment programs for several days, and after that period, respondent had student an unqualified person acting as a director for BRI. During that period, Mr. Blank was making treatment decisions for the residents at BRI. E. During the period from February 1979 through December 1980, for an unknown period of time after those dates, untrained employees were administering adversive behavior interventions to residents. During the period of licensure, respondent violated Section 2(1) of the A standards in that person acting as director of the facility lacked the requisite training and competency in the application of behavior modification techniques. Respondent is in violation of Section 2B2 of the A standards, in that during the licensure period, persons acting as director have failed to take responsibility for the health and safety of all residents receiving adversive behavior interventions, have failed to adequately monitor and control adversive behavior interventions, and have failed to report instances of misuse and abuse of adversives to licensing authorities as follows. Oh, we'll start getting into these tomorrow. I wanted to make this quick since I'm doing this tonight. So they are failing pretty much all over the place. Fire code, they are failing. Remember, this is 1982, folks. This one was when adversive treatments were more acceptable, especially in the early 80s. If we're talking early 80s ABA, where punishment was still very much a part of those types of programs, and you have them saying that it's going too far, that they are violating regulations, there should be all kinds of red flags. And I do mean all kinds of red flags in that. When you have people who are not qualified to practice medicine, yank students off medications that are supposed to be a part of their behavioral programs, that should raise some red flags. What still boggles my mind is California has all this and these constant violations. Yet I do know that they still send students to the JRC that is now located in Canton, Massachusetts. So it makes me wonder, did they actually disagree with what they were doing? Or did they just not want to have somebody come across it in their state? Not as tricky as y'all think you are. Because we autistic people, we keep receipts. See, we're very, very good at it too. And all of us has kept receipts of one kind or another in our back pockets. Yes, that includes myself. So, folks, think about it. If they were willing to violate all those regulations with impunity back then, when they had a lot more room to operate, do you really think they've changed with all the other reports we have gone to? Or have they continued to do the exact same thing, but they have found a state that is willing to bend over backwards and a federal court system that's willing to bend over backwards to protect them? Now, this puts me in mind. To the federal government, I have to ask. To the DC Circuit Court, I have to ask. Who is it that you're actually protecting? Is it the people who actually pay your salary? Or is it places like the JRC where you are able to get them to line your pockets with that little bit extra? Because a country that is not willing to defend their disabled population should not be able to enjoy such a high status in the world. And I have no problem, and I love my country, but I have no problem with exposing the kinker in the eye of the rose, as it were. And on that note, folks, I'm going to close out for tonight slash this morning. We don't get very many views on this channel, especially on this subject. The few that we do get do tend to get removed from time to time. So, folks, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. Do appreciate your time this morning slash this evening. And I do hope all of you have a good one. Bye-bye.